Hello and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host. And as always, thanks so much for being here. I hope you enjoy the show. Well, we're going to highlight another wonderful theater that's based in West Haven, Connecticut. It's called the Fuse Theater. And I have Laura Morton, who's the creative producer. And we're going to talk about the play Assassins as well as other things, but she is the creative producer of that. And also Ethan Sachs, an actor who is also in that show. So Laura and Ethan, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for making the trip. It's so nice to have you in the station.
It's great to be back.
So like we talked before we started taping, I like to introduce the guests to the viewers. So Laura, and Ethan, we'll do you next. Laura, why don't you start first? Tell us about yourself.
Sure, I'm Laura Morton. I am the co-founder, board secretary, and for this project, I am the creative producer of Stephen Sondheim and John Weidman's Assassins.
And how about your background? Did you grow up performing? Were you always going to be behind the scenes?
A little bit of everything. I graduated from Hann High School in '88, Daniel Hann in Madison. In '88, went to college, swore I wasn't going to be a theater major, ended up being a theater major, and found a real love for directing, writing, performing as well. Love Shakespeare and musicals equally, and I have been working in the theater, basically education, community outreach, and also teaching acting to all ages, all over the place, for the last 30 plus years. I specialize in improv. I teach improv all the time. I love directing. I don't know what else to say other than it has been the honor of my life to be a theater artist, because I think theater is so important in this world.
Speaking of theater, is that your only love now or growing up? Did you think of film, television, video, commercials, any other thing?
It was live theater.
It was live theater.
The feeling that I had in the audience as a young student, and just sitting in the audience and feeling that communal experience with 1,000 people around me, all experiencing and feeling the same things, and that interaction between the performers, just the excitement and the engagement and the ideas and the feelings and the music and all the things. It was just so, I just took it into my heart and it never left.
Okay, Ethan,
Yes.
Your turn. Why don't you tell us about yourself? Take us back.
All right, how far do you want to go back?
Well, how about you're in the play, you're an actor as well as other things, but did you know where are you from?
All right, I am from Woodbridge, Connecticut, just outside of New Haven.
Okay.
Didn't get very far. I only really started in theater in high school, my junior year. I did a very, very brief stint at a summer theater program at Audubon Arts Camp when I was a little kid, but it didn't really stick. I was in choir and a cappella groups, and singing was my passion growing up, but very rarely did I get on stage and do a full production. And then my junior year of high school, I went to Amity, and they, to much fanfare, had cleaned out all of the mold in the old auditorium and brought in Rob Kennedy to completely revitalize the theater program there. We had a new auditorium, gorgeous stage.
Phenomenal program.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
really kind of like Phoenix from the ashes type thing. They did Grease. I was a bit skeptical of joining. Rob came to choir practice one day, pitched me on a role that I would only have to show up at the second act, and the entire performance revolved around me and every woman in the cast. And I said, "Say less." And the rest of my
Teen Angel?
Yes, Teen Angel, exactly. But yeah, the rest is history. I got bit by the bug, couldn't get enough of it. Ended up going to college for it, Muhlenberg in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I ended up pivoting to a career in tech following undergrad, and kind of took a almost decade-long hiatus from the arts. My focus was just elsewhere. And the funny thing about the pandemic, it had a habit of kind of kicking a lot of people into gear. I found a lot of folks had a similar experience where we grew kind of sedentary, and these creative urges that you had started to bubble up, and I had a feeling that I hadn't felt in a very long time, had to go scratch that itch. And last summer I finally got on stage again with Eastbound Theater Company's Midsummer Night's Dream. It was their first Shakespeare in the Park production. It was an absolutely incredible time playing with them, and since then I had been bopping around trying to audition for other productions, and Assassins came across my Facebook. Coincidentally, missed the audition window for that, but had been in choirs with the director, Noah, in our childhood. Yeah, and so I reached out to Noah on Facebook, being like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but can I please audition for your show? And he was gracious enough to let me come in one of the days we were doing callbacks, and the rest is history.
So are you in corporate world as well as theater world? Are you juggling both?
Yeah. I work in tech. In my day job, I'm in consulting. I work with a company called Slalom. I do data and cloud engineering in my 9 to 5, and then 5 to whenever we're done with rehearsals, because it's Tech Week, I am performing with this lovely cast.
Well, that's a good thing. We're going to talk some more, but why don't we take a moment, show the logo, show the promo, and talk about the play, because that's one of the reasons why you're here. Okay, so tell me what we're seeing here, Laura.
This is our logo. It was actually the first thing that happened when we decided to found Fuse. My co-founder knew someone who was a graphic artist, and 5 minutes later we had a logo, and I just feel it's perfect for us. I love it.
Okay, good. And then why don't we show the trailer if we could as well.
My name is Noah Golden, he, him, and I am the director of Assassins. A sitz probe is the day when the band has their first rehearsal with the cast and just sit together and sing through the whole score, and we get a chance to rehearse together, because after this, the cast is going to be on stage. We have an 8-piece band. It's really exciting. It sounds really full and large, and it's very exciting to see all the pieces come together. The cast has worked really hard. They're a phenomenal group, so talented and hardworking, and they're really ready to tell this story, and it's really exciting to see it all come together. You know, we picked the show obviously to do in an election year, but when we picked the show in around January, a lot has changed since even then. So, you know, I mean, you really feel the weight of doing a show like this at this time. You should see Assassins because we are from all over the New Haven area and beyond. Just a really professional group of people who are coming together on their own time to tell this really important story that begs telling. It is a really fascinating, funny, thoughtful show that I think has something, a little bit of something for everyone. And we're really excited to bring it to the New Haven area.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I hope you enjoyed that. We're talking about Fuse Theater. And Laura, before we talk about that trailer, why don't we tell the audience what Fuse Theater is all about? How did it come about?
So I founded Fuse Theater of Connecticut in 2019 after almost 20 years of trying to find a theater home in Connecticut. I couldn't find one that sort of encompassed the ideals and the sort of the outlook I have when it comes to theater, which is you want talented people in the room with you, people who love to collaborate. You want to feel respected, and you want to give respect. You want for your contributions to be honored and appreciated. And that is what we have created with Fuse. And I've been so fortunate to acquire some incredible people along the last almost 5 years now who are just, they're in it to win it. We're moving forward. We survived the pandemic through pure scrappiness and love. And here we are going into our 9th project.
Now, what we saw was Assassins that is playing this weekend and next weekend.
Yes,
is that correct?
we open Friday.
Tell us about Assassins. What is that all about?
Okay, so Assassins is a musical by Stephen Sondheim and John Weidman. Stephen Sondheim was the composer, lyricist. John Weidman wrote the book, which is the script. It is a fascinating look into the psychological lives of those who either attempted to assassinate a US president or succeeded. And it's sort of, it's set in this limbo kind of space where they all know each other and they all influence each other, right? So it's sort of, it's like going inside of the collective minds of those who have taken on such a, you know, an outrageous act of what many of them considered to be patriotism.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan, as an actor, I have many actors that are watching the program. What part are you playing, and how is it for you to be performing in this play?
Sure. I'm playing Charles Guiteau. I assassinated James Garfield successfully, and it has been exhilarating and incredibly challenging and equally rewarding. It's a trip digging into the psychological aspects of that, especially this character.
Arguably the craziest.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say he's crazy, and like as an actor, you never want to approach a role and say like this person is a crazy person. I do need to find some kind of empathetic connective tissue to the role, and so much of this show is unlocking the humanity of these people and being able to create a bridge from the audience to all of these real historical figures. They have been marginalized. They are rightfully aggrieved. They have not been supported by their government, by their community. And obviously, they have resulted to extreme measures, which are never excusable. But there is a understandable trajectory for why they got to where they are, and as an actor, going on that journey has been just so rich and exciting, and I'm thrilled to have the opportunity.
Okay, let's take a break. Okay, we're going to take a break. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You're tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. We'll be right back.
Vacation rental cons top the list of travel scams reported to Better Business Bureau. Con artists often pretend to own these rentals and try to talk you into paying them directly instead of through a travel company. It may be tempting because scammers will offer a cheaper deal, but the last thing you want to do after taking time off of work and paying for airfare is to get to your destination and learn the home you plan to rent doesn't even exist. Do extra research before buying into an ad you see on social media or online. The free cruise is also a common con. Read the fine print and watch out for add-on fees, taxes, and other charges. And finally, beware of third-party booking sites that claim to sell airfare. You pay with a credit card and then receive a call from the company asking you to verify personal information such as your bank account. In other cases, you're told your flight was canceled and convinced to fork over more money to rebook. To see the full list of vacation scams and how to avoid them, visit bbb.org/travel, and to report a scam, visit bbb.org/scam tracker.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and we continue to talk about Fuse Theater. And what I'd like to do before we start talking, what we mentioned during the break, is talk about the website. So if we could put up the address, it's fusetheaterct.org. What will the viewer find when they go to the website?
Well, there's the landing page, which you'll actually see some video clips from previous productions that Noah has put together brilliantly. And Assassins is the featured thing. And you click on Assassins and you go to the Assassins page. Or you can go directly to our ticketing website, which is through Long Wharf Theater. They've been incredibly generous to us. They are the ones that have filmed these previews. And this is 2 of 3. They've done it gratis just because they enjoy having us in the community and they believe in reaching out to the community. So what you saw is the work of the brilliant people at Long Wharf Theater.
Wonderful. What brought you to West Haven? People probably saying, I haven't heard of Fuse. I'm not really sure about West Haven. Where are you? What's it all about?
So we are what we think of as a nomadic theater company now because we don't have our own space for a couple reasons, budgeting and also because there isn't a suitable space in West Haven. In 2019, deciding to incorporate Fuse in West Haven had to do with feeling like this was a community in need of kind of a vitamin shot. And sometimes the arts can be that, but you have to go out there and prove that the vitamin shot is worth taking. And it's hard to prove that unless someone sees your work. And once they see your work, they know it's worth it. So it's sort of a catch-22. So we've been slowly, sort of getting us out there into West Haven and the surrounding area, knowing that we're there, knowing that we're doing good work that is worth the ticket price, which we try to keep reasonable because we want everyone to see our shows, which is difficult because musicals are expensive. But we're managing to pull it off through grants and the generosity of strangers.
What does Fuse Theater stand for? Is there a type of genre of play that you like to do?
Well, we want to be able to do everything. You know, we've done plays, we've done musicals, we've done concerts. We want to be able to do a little bit of everything. Fuse, the word represents coming together of disparate elements, right, and creating something new. And we want to fuse different talents. We want to fuse different, type art forms. And we also have sort of our own little twist on things. Like there's a Fuse, we almost have a brand that we're sort of creating when it comes to the art. And you have to come to see our shows to figure out what that is. But we're there and we are not going anywhere. And we want to continue to be a part of West Haven. We want West Haven to embrace us, and we want to embrace the city. It can help drive commerce. A lot of businesses closed during the pandemic. We're hoping that we can be a part of the arts movement through Arts West CT, which is run by Eleanor Slamba. We work alongside them. We've held up signs, Arts Matter. We've been to events, all that. We joined the Chamber of Commerce just to get the word out there. The arts help. The world needs more beauty, it needs more ideas, it needs more feelings, it needs more love, it needs more art.
Ethan, as an actor, talk to the actors that are watching us now. How do you prepare for a part? Are you into your monologues? What is it that helps you get into character?
Get into character. Honestly, the energy that the rest of the cast brings. I don't find that much of my preparation is done in a solitary fashion. And especially with a show like this, it is so intensely collaborative. The show is kind of constructed in a series of vignettes, and we're all moving in and out of each other's scenes and interacting with each other in strange and fun ways. And having the opportunity to work hand in hand so closely with so many wildly different people has been incredibly enriching. I wouldn't say that I have done a lot of homework per se. It's been a lot of work in the classroom with the rest of the class, where we're all kind of just throwing stuff at the walls and looking at each other and going, what stuck? What did you resonate with? What felt good? What made you feel anything at all, and why? And building upon that day after day, and the end result is magic.
Now, you have a play this year. You came last year and talked about falsettos. Mm-hmm. Do you do one play a year? Have you looked at 2025?
We are a one show at a time company, which means once this show's over, we will start to have those meetings.
Okay.
Because we've literally put all of our resources, we're a small band, behind the show, and then we will start to think about next year. We have a couple shows we're interested in. We don't know whether or not we'll get the rights for them, but they're definitely in our consciousness. But we'd like to do 3 projects a year. Eventually, we'll be doing either 3 musicals or a couple musicals and a play once we have the budget and the audiences to support that. And hopefully even more. Like, we would love to have a full season and paid staff and all of that. You know, we believe in paying artists. We actually pay, right now, everyone except for the actors. Sorry, Ethan. Everyone.
I do it for the love.
Yeah. We pay musicians the professional rate. We pay all of our technicians, and we pay our designers, and because we want to contribute to the arts economy, and the only way to do that is to pay artists. You know, they have lives, they have bills, they buy things, they shop. And so by paying artists, which not a lot of local theater companies are able to do, we usually end up either breaking even or not quite hitting our budget. But to us, it's worth it because we're making a dent, a positive, step in the right direction. And that's, again, what Fuses we stand for.
And I've asked other theater co-founders and founders how they got started. Was it difficult for you, once you thought about doing it, to start a theater company? What was your process to get it launched?
I have always wanted to start a theater company, but I felt like I didn't have connections or resources or finances. I didn't have a space. It looked like it was not going to happen. And then suddenly sort of the universe opened up and we had a space suddenly. My co-founder, actually, her husband owned the same space we're performing in now. They were the former owners. And so I started teaching improv classes there, and then we decided that we were going to do a musical. And because I come from an educational theater background, we were going to do The Lion King Jr. because we knew that people would come see it, people would audition for it. And so we rehearsed every weekend. These kids, ages, I think, 6 to 17, every weekend for almost 5 months. And we were supposed to open March 20th, 2020.
There you go, pandemic.
And the talent, the kids, it was awesome. Our costumes, everything was awesome. And then the pandemic happened, and it was like, I was, all armored up. I was ready for Tech Week. I was going in. It was like, and then all of a sudden that happened. It was like hitting a brick wall at 90 miles an hour. And I was stunned. I was stunned like a bird that hits a propeller over the ocean. I didn't know what to do. But then I sat with it for a minute and decided that a lifelong dream had come true. We were incorporated, all of the paper had been filed. We filed for nonprofit status. I was just going to go forward and see what happened and hoped that, possibility would open up, because I believe when you put intention out there and when you put, your love and energy out there, that form follows, right? Things start to happen, and that's what happened with Fuse. It was, in a lot of ways, I just feel like it was always meant to be.
And Ethan, what kind of roles do you look for as an actor? I know what you're doing right now, but as we move into 2024, 2025, 2026, what are you looking to audition for?
I would say I presently am less looking for specific roles and more looking for kind of the bigger picture. Is this a company that I want to work with? Are there going to be other people in the cast that I want to grow with? Is this going to be a piece of art that has an impact on the community or the audience? Very rarely, especially in Southern Connecticut, am I finding a specific role that I've been wanting for however many years. But this specific instance, I had a person directing it from my past. We're performing at a venue that I used to work at when I was a kid. Another one of my cast members is a former instructor of mine from a music theater summer production or program that I used to do when I was a kid. There's something serendipitous about all of it, and finding that kind of resonance in an opportunity is what gets me off of my couch and into an audition room. It's not really, oh, I want to play that specific role. It's, I want to be part of this larger operation, this production with this group of people.
And Laura, we are starting to slowly run out of time, but tell the audience why live theater is worth going to.
Well, I got into theater because that feeling that you have in the dark, surrounded by your community, having a collective experience, having emotions together, feeling together, laughing together, is really special. And not enough people were introduced to theater early on in life, and so they don't know that. And we're hoping that we can reach a wider audience and show them that theater is for them and that there's something there for them. And, you know, I hope you come to see Assassins. You will not be disappointed.
Ethan, your thoughts as we start to run out of time. Any closing thoughts for the viewers?
Yeah, this is going to be a rare and special production. I think whenever, especially with community theater, a company like Fuse puts on a show, you're always rolling the dice. It's a risk. Every production is a risk, both in that, like, are we going to get butts in seats, but also who's going to come out and audition for this show.
A show that needs 12 strong men.
Exactly.
Everyone thought we were nuts.
Yeah.
They're like, are you sure?
Yeah.
We're like, I just believe it. If you build it, they will come. And they came.
Yeah, it's such a huge risk. And I think with a lot of other shows, you can kind of lean on one or two strong actors to carry a production. We can't afford any kind of cracks in the hull. Mm-mm. Everybody has to be ready to carry the team, and we got so darn lucky. Every single person in this show is so well situated for their role. We're all playing to our strengths, and man, are we strong. It is thrilling to be able to have this come together in such a unique and special way. And yeah, you should all come see it. Okay. It's going to be phenomenal.
Well, I want to thank you both so much for coming. We have run out of time.
Thank you,
wish you
Deborah.
much success with the play. We're thrilled that you were able to be here today.
Thrilled to be here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Okay. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. In case you need to reach me, I'm at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day today. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll see you next time.